Is the Aston Martin Valkyrie the latest, greatest, newest, fastest super hypercar ever? Or a multi-million-dollar murder missile waiting to be unleashed on the world's unsuspecting elite? Find out today on the Car Truth Report. I'm your host and world-renowned Kebab Conquistador, Noor Elahi. Thank you for joining us. Aston Martin has just revealed some more details about their radical new $3.2 million hypercar, the Valkyrie. You know, the car that Aston Martin says will beat an F1 car around Silverstone? Well, according to a Road & Track article, see link below, Aston Martin Red Bull's new Apex Predator will feature a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 designed by Cosworth, which is based loosely on the 2.4-liter V8 engines that they used from 2010 to 2013 in a racing series called Formula One, and is rumored to make around 1,000 horsepower. The V12 Symphony from the Cosworth will be played through a 12-to-1 exhaust system, which, and I quote, makes it sound like it's revving twice as high as it actually is. This will sound fantastic, unlike my British accent, as engines that are even inspired by F1 power plants, like the Lexus LFA V10, tend to rev extraordinarily high and sound extraordinarily good. F1 engines tend to be very over-square. Over-square means the bore of the piston is wider than the stroke. Think more girth than length. The result is usually a high-revving engine that produces a higher horsepower figure than torque. Does this mean that the Valkyrie will have stubby, fat cylinders that produce way more horsepower than torques? That seems likely, as the Valkyrie only weighs 2,271 pounds, just like a 1999 Mazda Miata, and 1,000 foot-pounds of torque would be unusable and or wasted at that weight, even with tons of stability and traction control. Another good reason to keep the torque numbers down relative to the horsepower figure is that it allows Aston Martin to keep the drivetrain components as small and light as possible. They are also reporting that the Valkyrie will employ a single-clutch gearbox, just like the famously understated Paganis. The Valkyrie also lacks a reverse gear, opting for a 150 horsepower electric motor for reverse, and again, presumably to save weight. One could also presume that the electric motor is also being used for torque fill as well, just like other modern hybrid hypercars. So it sounds like the ratio of gas to electric power on the Valkyrie is going to be roundabouts 10-to-1. You can basically think of it as gas-powered. Oh, did we mention that the car is rear-wheel drive only? The Valkyrie is also reported to make crazy amounts of downforce. There is a really great video by KYLE.DRIVES that delves very deeply into how the aerodynamics on this magical machine will work. He is a genius when it comes to aerodynamics, and I would strongly recommend you check out his video after you're done with this one. Check the link down below. The one-sentence version is that the Valkyrie will make significantly more aerodynamic downforce than anything before it. Aston Martin has stated that the Valkyrie will be as fast as a modern P1 car and even faster than F1 cars on some tracks. I have heard crazy numbers like 2.5 cornering G-forces. A very good performance car can do a little over 1 cornering G-force. It should be noted that F1 cars are not driven by normal humans. They are instead piloted by people like Fernando Alonso, who can literally crack a walnut with his neck. Again, see link below. Can your average CFO, oil tycoon, or automotive enthusiast for that matter handle a car that can pull 2.5 Gs in the corner? I guess we'll find out. That is, of course, if they can fit inside. I mean, people ride around on crotch rockets all the time with similar power-to-weight ratios, and nothing bad ever happens to them. Are we saying that the Aston Martin Valkyrie is dangerous? No, we do not know enough about it yet. But if you are going to buy or drive one of these, the Car Truth Report at least recommends doing some neck exercises and maybe getting some of those super tight Air Force G suits, so your blood and organs don't pool to your feet every time you hit the brakes. Also, if Aston Martin would like to fly us out so we can drive a Valkyrie for real and show us in person that this car is literally as scary as we think it is, we would be more than willing to revisit the story and supply our own extra underwear. What am I saying? Of course we are going to do more videos about the Valkyrie in the future, regardless of Aston Martin's generosity. Instead of ending this episode with 3 questions like normal, today we are going to try doing 3 predictions. Number 1, the Valkyrie will be fast, duh, but we mean like the fastest. The Valkyrie will take and will hold the track record at the Nürburgring somewhere in the low 6 minutes, maybe even into the 5s. Number 2, like we stated before, we think the Valkyrie will have a much higher horsepower to torque ratio than your average road car based on what we know about the engine so far, and that is not a bad thing since it only weighs about as much as a newborn Yorkie. Number 3, Aston Martin will not fly us out to drive their new king of cornering speed, no matter how many emails and care packages we send them. Remember to subscribe and hit that notify bell because when we hear anything else about this G to the D of cornering G-forces, we will put out a new video and let you know. The Car Truth Report has been brought to you by About 5 Beers, giving me a little more courage since 1997. I know we said as much as we could, but I don't think people understand how fast this car is going to be.